Good morning, you lovely, lovely people. Microphone checker. Can you hear me? Can you see me? In all of my glory. Just kidding. Microphone check. Yes. All right. Awesome. Good morning, everybody. I hope everybody has slept well. I hope you have your coffee in hand. First and foremost, I'd like to thank you for those of you who did manage to roll out of bed. I know it's early. Yeah, Blag, you're earlier than the West Coasters. I do appreciate you guys. This is very nerve-wracking for me. I don't know why. I don't know that it's actually going to get better, but just the sheer anticipation of showing up to an empty stage is terrifying to me. But with that said, today, it's not the day. So thank you for that. If this is your first time here, thank you. What we do with these sessions is we talk about the real struggles that come with trading. It's not the technical side of it, guys, as you're well aware of, especially if you've been trading for any length of time. It's the emotional, the psychological side of it. And so we use these Saturday morning sessions to touch base on these things because they're not talked about often enough. And well, they should be, because without the other side of trading that nobody talks about, you can't do this. It does not work sustainably. It doesn't work in the long run, which is what we need, right? If we want to make a living out of this or have it be a consistent source of income. If you haven't watched the previous versions of these, this is the 7th episode. Go back and watch some of those in your free time or listen to them, whatever you want. We cover greed. We cover FOMO. We cover going on tilt. We cover trade plans, things like that. Very important stuff and all necessary as part of becoming a profitable trader. Today might be one of the most important topics that doesn't get talked about enough, but in reality, all of us are either dealing with or have lost this or are still in search of, and that is confidence. Today's subject is confidence, how to get it, how to keep it, and then how to get it back if you've lost it, which all of us have done all of those things at one point or another if you've been doing this for any length of time. Excuse me. Now, as I tell you guys in every one of these, I do put a lot of time into the things that we talk about in these for two reasons. Number one, I get off course and I'll start talking about all kinds of things. I don't know if I have ADD or whatever, but the fact of the matter is there's a lot of information up here that I feel like I want to share with you guys. And so when I prepare for these Saturday morning sessions, I do go through and write down paragraphs of things, topics, what we're talking about, so I can stay on point, so that I don't turn these things into 3 or 4 hour long sessions. I'm going to try and respect your time. It's a Saturday morning. It is a holiday weekend. And for that, I thank you for being here. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. If it sounds like I'm reading, it is because I'm reading from notes that took me hours to write. Okay, there's thousands of words that I've written for this one because confidence is a very, very important part of learning how to become a successful trader, whether it's your full-time job or just something you're interested in learning how to do. Now, confidence is not something that revolves only around trading. You have a ton of confidence in life, but just different aspects of it. We'll use your job as a perfect example. You get up every morning, you drive to work, you walk through the front door, you sit down at your desk, and at the end of the day, you do your job confidently, knowing that you know what you're doing, you're comfortable doing it, and if anything goes wrong, you probably have faced it before or planned for it, and you know what to do when it happens. So confidence is a part of your day-to-day life, whether you think about it or realize it or not, okay? And it comes in many, many different forms. But we're talking about trading, so we're going to stick to that right now. So let's get into it. Good morning, everybody. Today, we're going to dive into the most critical, yet very often overlooked parts of trading, which is confidence. Confidence in the context of day trading is not guessing and hoping to get lucky, nor is it recklessness. So You know what I'm talking about because we've all fallen off of that particular side of the dock, if it were. It's the steady belief in your ability to execute your trade plan, manage your money properly, and recover emotionally from the inevitable losses that you will take. You will take losses. Every trader does. Okay? True confidence comes from competence, preparation, and a deep understanding of both the markets and yourself. We talk about this all the time, guys. You have to be aware of your weaknesses, okay? It's what allows you to pull the trigger on good setups, cut losses quickly, and stay disciplined when emotions run high, as they often do. Without it, you probably already know, unfortunately, that even the best technical analysis or trade plan becomes worthless. So in a nutshell, that's confidence. Trading confidence is calm, earned belief in the ability to consistently execute your trade plan under pressure. Manage your risk effectively and maintain emotional discipline regardless of the short-term outcomes. In essence, I get asked daily after somebody followed their plan and their rules, Jimmy, I took a trade and it didn't work. Can you go over the trade for me and make sure I didn't do anything wrong? Guys, one of the biggest things it's hard to accept, and we'll talk about this more elaborately as we go through this, is just because your trade didn't work doesn't mean you did something wrong. You need to be able to differentiate that. You need to be able to discern the difference between a trade that broke rules and a trade that didn't break rules, okay? The result is going to be random for the most part, or could be random regardless, okay? But trading with confidence is the absence of fear or doubt and the ability to make decisive decisions regardless, okay? It stems from competence and proper and thorough preparation and a deep understanding of your edge in the market or your strategy. And with it, you can take calculated risks without hesitation. Big problem for a lot of people. Cut losses quickly without self-doubt, meaning, are you cutting at the right place based on your trade plan? Yes. There are things that change your plan that you may not be aware of. One of them is a big position size, too big for your account or too big for your emotions. The other one is, well, you doubt yourself because of lack of confidence, right? And stay patient for quality setups without forcing trades. That comes with confidence as well. Most importantly, trading confidence is process focused rather than outcome dependent. Okay, so we talk about this all the time. The focus on the process is more important than the actual trades themselves. It remains stable when you're winning or losing because it's built on your ability to control what's controllable, not on unpredictable market results. Okay, so some things we're going to touch on. It's just a bullet point list that I have here. Building your initial confidence, something we're going to talk about. So basically, how we can develop confidence through education, practice, and realistic expectations rather than guessing and recklessness. The confidence cycle, many of you have heard this before, but we're going to go over that again. Why your trading skills and confidence have to grow together and how to accelerate this process through practice. We're going to touch base on that as well. Protecting your confidence, ways to maintain mental strength during losing streaks, bad trading days, and market volatility. Okay, these are all things we've all felt if you've been doing this for any length of time. Risk management as confidence insurance. Now, this is one of my favorite points. And Lisa, we're going to have a quote in here. I know you're in here and listening. But risk management as confidence insurance, how to properly position size and set stop losses to protect not just your account, but your psychological capital. Okay, that's a good one. Rebuilding after setbacks, proven methods to recover confidence after major losses, blown accounts, or extended rough streaks of losing streaks and stuff like that. We're going to cover daily confidence routines, what to do to maintain confidence once you've had it. That includes morning preparation, mid-session check-ins, something we don't talk about very often, but we need to, and end-of-day reviews to keep your mental game sharp. And lastly, separating results from process. This is very, very difficult, but very, very necessary, which basically means how do we maintain our confidence even when good decisions lead to losses? and why process focus beats outcome obsession. I know it sounds heavy, but all of this stuff is going to tie together as we move through this. And again, I'm talking fast, maybe, but I don't want to bore you. But I do want to get to the point, and I do want you guys to understand how difficult trading is and that this is one of the reasons why it's so difficult. Okay, so let's start with building initial confidence. So as new traders, we often confuse confidence with overconfidence, jumping into live trading after watching a few YouTube videos, or you had an epic winning streak in your paper trading account. Raise your hand if you've done it. We've all done it. Okay. True initial confidence comes from building a solid foundation. Start with education about market mechanics. Well, like for us, it's price action, chart patterns, and risk management principles. Spend at least, now, a lot of you guys don't have this type of confidence or patience, and most people don't, because we live in a society where we want everything now. We want instant gratification now. So this next statement here is probably right, but not something most people are willing to try. Some people do, though. So spend at least 3 to 6 months in simulated trading, paper trading, mental trading, write down your trading. You don't have to do it with real money. And I would always recommend that you don't start with real money. Not just practice entries and exits, but to also experience the emotional roller coaster that is part of trading, but without real money at stake. Now, I wish there was a better way to do this. There's really not. When you guys are simulating trading, it's not real money. And most of us, not all of us, most of us will paper trade as if it's the casino that we treat it like it is. We're all paper trading millionaires. And then we get into the market and all of a sudden everything changes, right? Because real money's involved. And when real money's involved, as we know in a society like we live in, money is very, very important. Unfortunately, it's not everything. People who don't have money typically use that comment, money's not everything. And they're right. You could have health, you could have family, you can have friends and all those things, but you don't have a place to share good times with those people without money. It's very difficult to get through life without money. So we put it on a pedestal that is unhealthy in a sense, but that's leads to what makes trading when money is involved a bit more difficult. Okay. Set realistic expectations from day one, guys. Simple. Don't aim to hit a home run every single trade. It doesn't work that way. It's not going to work that way. We're going to expound on that a little bit more as we move through this. Professional traders typically lose money on their first year or two while learning. That's a good point. Create a detailed trading plan that includes your setup, your risk parameters, and your daily goals. Most importantly, start small when you go live. Risk only what you can afford to lose completely. Typically, the rule of thumb is 1 to 2% of your account balance per trade maximum. I wish more people would do this, but when you do that, especially if you have a smaller account, you say to yourself, this is not money. I'm not going to make any money, but you're missing the point. You're missing the point. You're chasing the wrong ball. Okay? The money comes when you've learned how to be confident in what you're doing. The money follows proper process. You don't chase the money without proper process because you won't achieve the money regularly if you don't have a proper process. That will create confidence. Okay? The competence-confidence cycle. Competent confidence feed each other in an upward spiral, okay? As your skills improve, your confidence grows, which allows you to trade your plan more effectively. It's kind of like a snowball effect. So as you trade your plan more effectively, it improves your results and builds even more confidence, right? The snowball effect. To accelerate this, you got to focus on deliberate practice and rather than just screen time. So record your trades and review them weekly, analyzing your winners and your losers for lessons learned, right? So you have a trade plan. If you don't, go back and watch the trade plan topic where I do share a Google Doc where you can use that as a starting point to make your own trade plan, okay? Study one specific pattern or setup until you master it completely before moving on to the next. This is a very important one. Most of us have tried trading 30 different strategies with a million different indicators in several different Discord rooms from several different YouTube creators and books and everything else. Guys, the truth is they all work if you work them properly. Okay? You can't work any strategy or any form of trading properly if you lack confidence, because no matter what you do, no matter what the strategy is, no matter what the indicator is, if you lack confidence, you will be uncomfortable in that trade, in any trade that you take, and you will never manage it according to your trade plan. Mark my words. I promise you. This is just the way it works. It's human emotions. They get in the way for a lot of things, specifically trading being a big one. Okay? So focus on one style of trading, one setup, and some of you guys already do this. You know, it may not be my style, but we have several people that, even though I trade several different setups, all based off price action and support resistance, but there are individual type of setups that we look for that do have very high win rates, and we have people who focus and will only trade those types of setups. There's nothing wrong with that. It's a good thing. Forces you to be patient, forces you to wait for the setup, and then you have an outcome expectation when you see it, and therefore it's usually positive, it's usually good. So you take the trade without hesitation. Massively important. Join a trading community. Okay, it doesn't have to be mine, but be around other like-minded traders. Okay, it's good. It's good to be in a. Trading is lonely. It's boring by yourself. For some people, a crowd does affect them differently. You know, some people get affected by FOMO and see other people making money, and they feel bad for themselves because they're not making as much as the next guy. Guys, that's specifically why I don't share my dollar amounts unless people ask. I'm not trying to make it seem like I'm better than anybody else. I am not. I just learned how to do this by doing the things that I'm trying to teach you how to do. Not just the strategy, but the emotional side of it. This is the hardest part. You know this, okay? And find a mentor. It doesn't have to be me also. I'd be thankful and very proud to help anybody who wants my help. But at the end of the day, pick who you're comfortable with, okay? Whether it's a YouTuber, a Discord owner, or a friend, it doesn't matter. Maybe you know somebody who's very good at trading. Talk to that person, you know, lean on them for feedback and ask them for constructive criticism. If you don't know where you're going wrong because you're blind, we have a very difficult time. I mean, how many of you out there find it easier to point out somebody else's faults than it is to point out your own? I mean, that's just human nature. We don't want to admit we have faults by design because that makes us feel weak, makes us feel subpar from the next guy, right? It's a flaw. It's a character flaw as human beings. But it's very easy to look over there and say, God, that guy keeps holding and hoping. That guy keeps getting in at the resistance or at the support. This guy's getting in when ADD is going the complete opposite way. You look at your own trades, you might find that you're doing the same exact thing. It's just easier to see it in somebody else than it is to accept that you're doing it yourself. Okay, so lean on somebody else, right? Ask questions. Track your statistics religiously. Your win rate, your average winner versus your average loser. For you prop firm traders, your maximum drawdown and profit factor. When you see these metrics improving over time, your confidence will also grow because it's based on measurable process, okay? Sometimes seeing the changes you're making in black and white improves. It should improve your confidence because you'll see it, even though you might not feel it because it's not happening fast enough or you're not paying attention to the right things. That is a confidence builder. When you look at your account over the course of a month, yeah, you might say, Jimmy, I only made $10 or 15 or average $17 a day. But at the end of the month, you say, man, at the beginning of the month, my account balance was X dollars. Now it's X dollars. This is the first time I've had a green month ever. Or this is the first month I've had a green month in a long time. But you're so caught up on the $15, $17, $50 a day is not enough money problem that you completely forget that most months you're not even green or break even at all, you're red. So a $5 account balance growth over 30 days or 20 trading days for the month is an improvement. Stop being so hard on yourself, okay? Check out TradeZilla. I just started using it myself. It's a fantastic software. It's not free. It's $30 a month, depending on which plan you go for. They only have 2 plans. I started with the cheapest one because I wanted to see what it was all about. I don't get any kickbacks from TradeZilla. It is a excellent software that automatically does really in-depth journaling for you if you link your trading account to it, okay? Next topic, protecting your confidence. So now that you've started to gain some confidence, how do you keep it? So losing streaks are inevitable. We know this, okay? They can be devastating to your confidence if you're not prepared. Sadly, a lot of us know this too. You need to develop a mental armor by accepting that losses are part of the business, okay? Even the best traders are wrong more than you may think. Create rules for maximum daily or weekly losses and stick to them religiously. I would say if you're going to set any goals for yourself, make them to the loss side, not the profit side. I have come to find when people set goals for profit targets, they will not stop trading until they run out of buying power, blow up their account, or get really deep red. Even if at one point they were green, they start to say, hey, I have a $100 a day goal. And you will not walk away from trading until you reach it. I've seen people I've done it. I was, what was it? $30 away one day. I'll never forget this. This was probably 2 years ago. One of my members is like, oh, Jimmy, you're so close to $1,000 today. Why stop now? Right? I don't even know if it was $30. Might have been less. And I'm like, you know what? I was 900, we'll call it because I don't remember the exact number. Let's just say $986. And I was just shy of $1,000 on the day. So like an idiot, I decide, let's take one more trade. Red. So now I'm even farther away than I once was. And I went all the way. I think it took me 4 trades just to get back to the $1,000. Added a bunch of stress, put my winnings at risk, and just did really stupid things for what? To earn another $20 or whatever the number was, $14. Stupid. It was so stupid. Okay, I overtraded to get it. Please, guys, if you're going to set goals, set limits on how many times a day you're going to trade and maximum dollars you're willing to lose on a given day. Okay, maximum. Okay, that's super important. Stick to those religiously. When you hit these limits, you must step away from the screens, okay? Regardless of what the limits are, they're going to be unique to you because we're all in different situations, right? Some of us have more money than others. Some of us have more disposable income than others. So your rules may change. But if you're a new trader, regardless of how much money you have or how much account balance you've got working with, stay small when you start because you're going to take your lumps. All right. It's better to lose a little bit amount of money while you're learning than it is heaps of money while you're learning. So you got to step away from the screens. Keep a trading journal that focuses not just on your P&L, but process execution. Did you follow your plan? Did you manage your risk properly? Did you control your emotions? Okay, these are all things you need to pay attention to that most of us don't. This helps you separate good trading from good results. Super important. During rough patches, reduce your position size rather than stopping completely, which keeps you engaged while limiting damage. Remind yourself that regularly, that one bad day, week, or even a month doesn't necessarily define your trading career. Guys, journaling is super, super important because you need to know if you are following your plan and just getting unfortunate results, or if you're not following your plan and that's causing unfortunate results. If your trade plan is true to form and it's properly created, it should produce over time more wins than losses. But if you start deviating from that plan because you're having a couple of losses in a row, then you're also not following the plan that, historically speaking, will in the long run produce more wins than losses. Okay. More winning trades than losing trades. So that's how you protect your confidence. You've got to, once you've got it, stick within the parameters, set loss limits so you have a defined expectation of what you're willing and comfortably able to lose on a given day, and use that as part of your reason to walk away. You guys hear me say it ad nauseum through the day. If you're good and green, leave it be. Get out of here. Walk away. Okay? Risk management as confidence insurance. Now, this one here, I think, is something that sounds maybe like a complicated topic. It's really not. Proper risk management isn't just about protecting your account. It's about protecting your psychological capital. Okay? I'm going to deviate here for a second. I talk about time, right? Time is the most valuable asset in your life that you don't even realize because we never think about it. We take it for granted. In trading, your psychological capital is equally as important, right? So time is one of those things where we know we have a finite amount of, but we just don't know when that particular gas tank is going to run empty, right? We don't know when our day comes. Psychological capital is very similar to that. You don't know which loss is going to be the one that crushes you and says, you know what, Jimmy, you just can't do this. You're not cut out for this, and you give up and you walk away. So you have to protect that psychological capital, guys. It's there. You're willing to go into this knowing that you got to protect yourself from yourself. But if you forget to do that, it's going to be a very, very short career for you. We talk about it often. And as Lisa, love you, Lisa, pointed out to me the other day, she said, you just said one of the smartest things I've ever heard you say. And what it was, I was explaining to one of our members that I'm more aggressive of a trader than I tend to teach my newer traders. And that comes from the fact that I'm just confident, and I'm confident in what I've created for myself and my trade plan and my strategy and all that stuff. And I said to this person something along the lines of, you have no right to trade aggressively, because this conversation is revolving around an aggressive trade that I took. Whereas somebody else who was new to our room didn't take it because they didn't feel good about it, which is awesome. But they wanted to learn how to aggressively look for a trade like this. I said, listen, you have no right to trade aggressively if your confidence can't afford it. Okay? Same reason you have no right to write a check if you know there's no cash in the bank to cover the check. Right? Don't let your fingers and your account balance write checks that your ass can't cash. Okay? It doesn't end well. Trust me. So thank you, Lisa, for pointing that out. When you know exactly how much you're willing to lose on each trade or each day, you can trade without fear. Maybe not without fear, but with less fear. So never risk more than 1 or 2% of your account on a single trade, and consider starting even smaller if possible. Now, some of you have larger trading accounts, whereas a 1% trade might still be a very large, expensive trade. A lot of the fact that a lot of people trade a large number, right, shakes your confidence. You can't unsee the cost of your trade. You can't. There's days like yesterday. There's expensive days, especially lately in the market, where you have to see, even if it's your normal position size, 5 SPX for me, on high volatility days, that's a $30,000 trade sometimes. That's scary. I can comfortably afford that, but that's not the point. It's still a big number, and it absolutely affects my feelings going into that trade. I try to tune it out. I try not to pay attention to it, but I can't unsee it. And I say to myself, man, if it's this expensive going in and this trade starts to go against me, it's going to be expensive getting out. Right? And therefore, our emotions get elevated, and we start to panic a little bit, especially when it's a normal pullback that would fall within the parameters of your trading plan. We know where we want to stop out. We might not be anywhere near that, but you see that dollar amount red, and you're like, oh, maybe I bit off more than I could chew. This is just too big. I can't stomach this, right? And you cut it. You cut it for a loss. but then you watch what was your original trade plan play out. If you guys want to get your confidence back in check, scale down. Most of us can afford to lose 30, 40, 50 bucks. So if you take a $130 single SPY contract, you let your trade plan play out, because if it goes against you, your stop loss will probably have you losing 30 bucks. 30 bucks. If you don't care about 30 bucks, you'll comfortably cut that trade when you're supposed to. If you don't care about 130 bucks, or if you don't care about the return on that 130 bucks, meaning there's a number, it's going to be different for everybody, where you say, this money means nothing to me. And you will follow your trade plan perfectly on that trade. I can't promise you. I would almost guarantee it. Because it then becomes more like a paper trade, where you say, hey, I know this isn't real money, or real money that's going to hurt me. Let me just trade the chart, not my heart. You might be surprised. Scale back, guys. You need the confidence more than you need the money. Because without the confidence, the money doesn't come. Not consistently. Okay? So create maximum daily loss limits. I would also, and if you don't know how to do that, use a position sizing calculator or something like that, guys. It's if you don't want to do regular math. 1 to 2% of your account size, or just a manageable dollar amount. Start with that, okay? I would also urge you to set daily trade limits, a number of trades per day. For me, it's 3. I stay very, very far away from that if I can. I would rather just take 1 trade a day. The only time in the last 2 weeks, whenever I started TradeZilla, that I had more than 1 trade was when my first trade was red. Okay, my first trade was red, and it's the only day that I took 2 trades because I was red, not because it was the right thing to do. I did take the second trade. It was a great setup. I announced it to everybody. I told everybody what I wanted to see. I called out the trade before I took it. It was minutes before I took it, because I started to realize, Jimmy, your emotions are getting in the way of you trading your plan and trusting the chart. So I had a moment where I said to God and everybody, I said, hey guys, I got to stop doing this to myself. This chart is clearly trending up. If we pull back to support and ADD's printing green, I'm buying calls. And it turned into a beautiful trade. Felt uncomfortable because I was already red on the day, but it worked out and turned my red day green. But it's the only day that I took 2 trades in the last 2, 10, 11, 12 trading days. I don't have it in front of me, but whatever it was. Okay, so set a trade limit, because if you don't have a limit to the number of trades you take, on good days, you'll trade away a lot of profit and give away some of it. On bad days, you'll keep making a red day even more red. Limit yourself. You could set limits all you want, but if you don't have the discipline to follow those limits, it's irrelevant. So you have to have the discipline to follow your own rules. Okay, I'm not making your rules. You make your rules, but make them so that they protect you from yourself. Okay. This approach will allow you to take necessary risks while sleeping well at night, which maintains the clear thinking necessary for consistent performance. It's another thing that a lot of people try and do. You try and trade on your, while you're at work. You try and trade while you're doing something else. Guys, this requires intense concentration. And if you do that and you see what you're supposed to see and you take the trade that you're supposed to take based on what you're seeing, then you don't need to sit here and focus on the chart all day. You'll get your good setup, you'll make your money, and then you can go back to doing whatever it is that you want or needed to do. But do not attempt to become good at this while you're at your day job, while you're interacting with your spouse, while you're at dinner, while you're sitting in front of a movie. Do it when you have time to do it. Another thing, little off topic, but I know people do, is you can only trade on your lunch break. That's fine. You have an hour of chart time where you can dedicate to the market. You know how many people force a trade because that's their only trading time, and you can't possibly imagine that you're going to spend that hour and do nothing? Get better at that. You might force a trade. Yes, it might work out, but it's breaking your plan. And when you force a trade and it doesn't work, you're rattling your confidence. Please don't do that. This is a business. treat it like one. Treat it like the business, okay? Please stop sabotaging yourself. The market will be here long after we're gone. I promise you that. So it's not like today is the only day you're going to make money. That is not the case, and you know it. Condition yourself to accept that not every day is a trading day. It's better for your confidence. I assure you of that. Okay, so that's how you rebuild. So how do we rebuild after having setback? As we said earlier, major losses and blown accounts can shatter your confidence, but they don't have to end your trading career. First, as I often tell people who are on a very nasty streak or have taken a catastrophic loss, take a break from trading. Walk away. Okay? Could be a few days, could be a few weeks, could be a few months. As I just said, the market will be here whenever you decide, if ever you decide to come back. Okay? Depending on the severity of the setback. So it might take a day for you. You might need a week to clear your head. Whatever the number is, it doesn't matter. You just got to do what's best for you. But use this time for honest self-reflection, okay? What went wrong? What rules did you break? And what changes need to be made? And then when you do come back, you're going to paper trade and you're going to reduce your position size when you start using real money again. Many of you won't want to do that, but I suggest that you do, okay? Rebuild your account and your confidence slowly and methodically. Set small, achievable goals rather than trying to make back your losses quickly. Now, what does this look like? You guys see this? One of my favorite pictures of all time, right here. In my trading community, if you're not in it, we aim to be the guy over here on the right. This is our mantra right here. Right here. This is our mantra. We've all tried to be the guy on the left. We want those monster winning trades. We want to be, making huge amounts of money every time we get into a trade. But then you end up just like this guy. And if you've ever been in this situation in real life on a ladder, or you're trying to get off of a roof or a wall, and you think your foot is near another ledge that you can step on or something, this is a very, very uncomfortable situation to be in. All right? It's terrifying. This right here, this is what we aim to be. Because this guy has all the confidence in the world that he's going to make it to the top of the ladder. This guy doesn't think he'll ever get there. Guys, please consider smaller wins, more achievable, attainable goals. It will work wonders for your account and your confidence. I promise. Okay? So with that said, set realistic goals, as we just said. Okay? Focus on process improvements rather than profit targets. Okay? Tweak your plan. Okay? Just because your plan didn't work on day one or day two, if it's consistently causing you to take losing trades, you need to tweak it. Okay? Figure out what's causing it not to work and work on it. Do not make massive changes to your trade plan in one time, because then you won't know exactly which portion of your trade plan was causing the problems. Okay, you may make a slew of changes, which makes it a completely different trade strategy altogether for the most part. You won't know what worked from the previous one or what didn't. Make small incremental changes as necessary. Okay, consider working with a trading coach or a mentor of some sort. And after big losses, and this is not funny, and it's necessary for some people go to therapy. And not only do they go to therapy to get their mind right, I know a lot of traders who actively continue to go to a therapist to keep their mind on track. Guys, what's going on up in here is the reason. That's the reason we're struggling to do anything that we struggle to do. It has nothing to do with the stock market itself or the market makers or Donald Trump or whatever it is. I mean, yes, some of these things can affect the market, but it still comes down to us to make the proper decisions, right? To react based on things that are out of our control, right? In saying that, just remember that many successful traders have blown up their accounts early in their careers. I've done it. And it's often necessary tuition, right? And for expensive lessons learned, right? We talk about the tuition that goes into learning how to day trade, right? A lot of us mark up our losing trades or our losing streaks or blowing up an account as market tuition. That's a good way to look at it. You're going to lose money. You're gonna. And it's necessary because you need to know what that feels like. How many of you guys have been really good at something naturally, whether it's relationships, whether it's work related, sports related, anything, and then one day, out of the blue, something goes catastrophically wrong. It will destroy your confidence. You will think twice the next time you enter that particular situation, wondering, man, is that going to happen to me again this time? Very, very difficult mountain to climb over, okay? But necessary. You got to work on it. Trust your trade plan. Trust the process. It wins in the long run. Remember that. Daily confidence routines. Okay, so consistency in routine builds consistency in confidence. Okay, start each day with market preparation. Review the daily calendar of events, identify key levels, and plan potential trades before the market opens. Guys, what is our call put scenario? That's it. That's it. The call put scenario is me identifying key levels, trend, and then the trade that I want to take based on that information before it happens. You too can do this. And you should do it for every single trade that you take. Every one. No trade should ever sneak up on you. If it does, you are FOMOing into a move that you didn't see or didn't plan for. Skip it. Skip it. Skip it. Please skip it. Okay? Yes, sometimes that FOMO will produce a winning trade, but there's things you should do if that ends up happening. And we'll talk about that here in a second. So we do the call put scenario. Most important part, have your trade plan at the ready at all times. Please have it at the ready at all times. Use that as your reference guide to do everything you choose to do in the stock market. Okay? During regular trading hours, take regular breaks to assess your emotional state and decision-making quality. A lot of us have rules that after we take a trade, winning or losing, we're going to walk away for 10 minutes, let our emotions come back to reality. It's exciting to make money, guys. It hurts to lose money. Let those emotions subside a bit before you decide to do or take another trade. Super, super important. The analogy I like to use for that is people who are trying to lose weight, you probably don't have to change anything that you're doing except one thing. Put your spoon or your fork down between bites. It's a thing. Go look it up. Take a bite of food, put your fork down, chew, swallow. Pick up the fork, take another bite of food, chew, swallow while the fork's down. And what's happening is your body is taking in the food and it'll register. You'll listen to your body saying, hey, I'm good. I don't need any more. And half of your food will still be left on the plate. It's amazing. Trading while under emotional duress causes the same problem. When you get into a trade and it wins, you want that momentum to continue, so you'll jump into another trade, especially if the trade you just got out of keeps going in the direction that you are already in. You feel like you got to get back in and get more of it. You got to finish that food. Well, it's the same thing when you take a losing trade. Instantly, we don't want to accept the loss. We want to make up for it. We want to make it right instantly, so we immediately jump into another trade. It doesn't even matter that the setup is not there. Put the fork down. Walk away from the chart after every trade. 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever it is, you'll know it because you'll know how you feel at that time. Deal with it properly, okay? If you notice you're frustrated, fearful, or excited after your trade, just walk away. It affects your judgment. End each day with a brief review session. What worked, what didn't work, and what can be improved for tomorrow. Keep a daily scorecard that tracks your process execution, not just profits and losses. This routine structure creates predictability, which naturally builds confidence over time. Okay? This is how you predict probability, predictability, and that builds your confidence over time. Okay? Now, this is a tough one for us to get by, including myself. It's the last bullet point, and then I'll take some questions. Separating results from process. This is perhaps the most challenging but crucial aspect of trading confidence. You have to learn to feel good about following your plan perfectly, even when the trade loses money, and feel disappointed when breaking your rules, even if the trade makes money. Now, this is something I say probably daily. Guys, not everything you do is wrong. Just because the trade didn't work doesn't mean you made a bad decision. Do not beat yourself up over that. The market is something that is completely out of our control. All we can do is define the criteria that are allowing us to take a risk. Every trade is a risk. It has the risk of being a winner or a loser. But there are two different types of results. You either did what you were supposed to and it won or lost, or you did what you weren't supposed to and it won or lost. Two completely different situations. One of them you should pat yourself on the back for. The other one you should punish yourself for. For me, if I break a rule, even if I win on the trade, I shut down my trading platform instantly. That's how I punish myself. Okay? Red or green. You need to punish yourself, hold yourself accountable, something we lack dearly in today's society. It's your fault for every decision you make in the stock market. Nobody else's fault. I often have in the past been told that I promote overtrading. Now, if you know me, that's the funniest shit you've ever heard, because I do not promote overtrading. In fact, I do the exact opposite. There's people who don't like me because I don't keep them trading all goddamn day, because I know what the natural result of that scenario typically is. And you do too if you constantly overtrade your profits to losses. Don't do that. It's a bad problem, okay? So congratulate yourself when you follow your plan regardless of the results, okay? Be disappointed in yourself when you break your rules, take a trade regardless of the results, okay? Focus on what you can control, your preparation, your risk management, and your emotional discipline, rather than what you can't control, which is whether any individual trade wins or loses. Well, so what we do is within our control, and what is a result of is out of our control. Don't pretend like you can tell the market what you want and it's just going to happen. Steven is the only one who can do that. If you know, you know. But even that is just a running joke, although it's eerily accurate a lot. And Steve, we trust. That's the next shirt that's going to be on the site, by the way. And that's what you got to focus on, right? So create metrics that measure process quality, percentage of trades that have followed your plan, average time to cut losses, consistency in position sizing. Okay? Celebrate the improvements in these areas regardless of your daily P&L. So again, define your criteria, define your rules, and every time you follow them, regardless of the outcome, celebrate that. Okay? Not every day is going to be a green trade or a green day. Not every trade is going to be a green trade. But if you followed your rules regardless, you did the right thing. And that's what you got to get comfortable and confident in doing every single time. This mindset shift protects your confidence during inevitable losing streaks and prevents overconfidence during winning streaks. Remember, even perfect execution can result in losses in the short term, but will always be profitable in the long term. Okay? The last statement I have regarding of all of this, before we can get into some questions, should you have them, is each of these areas require ongoing work and attention, guys. Confidence in trading isn't a destination you reach once and maintain. I mean, it is. you're gonna go through phases where you'll reach confidence and then you'll lose confidence, and then you're gonna have to work to get it back. Okay, it's not something you get once and then it just maintains forever. It's a skill that requires constant effort and protection. So all that means is you got to protect yourself from yourself. Again, guys, you got to know your weaknesses. Don't try and trade through your weaknesses. Figure out how to avoid putting yourself in the position to have to face them in the first place. Super, super important. It worked wonders for me. One of my weaknesses over the years of doing this was over trading. Okay, great. How many trades is over trading? We don't know what that number is. So I started to see, on days you take more than 3 trades in a given day, man, you tend to do more harm than good. Well, that's where 3 trades a day came from. Okay. From there, I realized that if my first 1 or 2 trades on the day was red, I am guaranteed to take a 3rd trade. And because of that 3rd trade, I'm going to trade until it's green day, which doesn't always happen. Sometimes it makes the red day that much worse. But that's why I limit myself, because I know I start to revenge trade after 2 losing trades. It's just me. I know that trading after 12 o'clock for my particular style of trading doesn't work well. It's a lower than 50% win rate, whereas before that, it's north of 90% win rate. Why am I going to try and trade at a time that is more likely to cost me money than to make me money? It was an easy fix, but it wasn't obvious to me at first. Cut out the time that doesn't work for you. Simple. Okay? That has allowed my confidence to grow. If you're in my room, you guys hear it. You see it. I tell you guys what is likely to happen, and I'm right more than I'm wrong. Now, I'm not trying to break my own arm, pat myself on the back, but this is confidence. I have confidence in price action. I have confidence in my execution based on that price action. It has produced a winning strategy for me and a way for me to pay my bills. And I want the same for you. With that said, I am going to step back and offer the floor to you guys. If anybody has any questions, please ask. If you don't, then we can wrap this up. But if you do, and you're in my Discord, please keep it on topic, okay? Please keep it on topic. If you have a question for me, please ask regarding confidence. If not, just say we're good, and we'll move on. You guys can go about your extended holiday weekend. Remember, guys, the markets are closed on Monday, except for futures traders. So degenerates, go ahead and do your degenerate things. I'm gonna give you 30 seconds. If no questions come up, then we'll wrap this up. Bear with me, just 30 more seconds, guys. If you get stopped out, but your setup is still valid, what are my thoughts? Yeah, I mean, if the setup's still valid, then why is your trade plan stopping you out? So, Scotty, I mean, if you're using a stop loss based on a dollar amount or a percentage amount, which is something I don't recommend, then you'd almost be obligated to have to miss that trade, because then you'd have to break the rule of walking away between trades. If that's not one of your rules, just know that you're going into more likely a revenge trade situation or a FOMO trade situation by getting stopped out of one and quickly getting back into the same trade. I would say, for me, how I avoid that, because I know exactly what you're talking about. What I do is I use mental stops, which, again, that requires discipline. I'm not promoting mental stops unless you've gotten to that level, because I would get wicked out of a lot of my trades. So I wait for candle closes below my stop loss point. Sometimes that produces a bigger win or a bigger loss than comfortable, but that's how I prevent that issue. I don't start using mechanical stops until I've made it to and through my initial profit target, my line on the chart where I wanted to get to, because then greed becomes a problem for me more so than the trade plan itself. Let's see here. Skinny here on topic here. Confidence has been a killer problem for me for a while. I'm in the cycle of protect. How can I better protect that? You just gotta have the plan, Skinny, and follow it every single time. Just remember, guys, the trade plan, think of it like this. And we kind of touched on this the other day. Think of your trade plan as the bumpers at a bowling alley. You know, when the kids are playing bowling and they bring out the bumpers so that they can't get gutter balls, that's your trade plan. Doesn't mean they're going to get a strike every time, but in the end, it stays the course and you get positive results at the end of the day, right? One kid may score higher than the next because one kid may be able to throw a bowling ball better. Some people just bounce them off the damn rails, but it's still going to hit something. At the end of the day, the trade plan is the most important thing to follow, because if the plan is good, then the results over time will be better than they're not. Does that make sense? And scale down. Scale down, because a lot of you don't follow your trade plan because the cost of the trades are more than you can stomach. Okay. If you all can try TradeZilla, thanks for that recommendation, Jimmy. You're welcome. Nelford, TradeZilla is fantastic. It's an awesome software. I know $30 a month is a little bit, I don't want to say expensive. I guess it's all relative. I mean, people, you know, $65 a month is expensive for some people, which is what we charge in our Discord, or $50 a month if you're doing annual. So $30 a month may not be something you're willing to invest in. Now, I will tell you this: I don't need TradeZilla, but I still am hoping that it's over time going to tell me things that might improve my trading. If you allow TradeZilla to do what it does, it'll tell you some things you don't even think about that might be a problem in your trading. It's insane. It's super. It's awesome. It's awesome. Try it out. Okay. Hopefully on topic of confidence. Regarding the strike choice versus dollar amount risk, building confidence, risking $35 max per trade. But like on Friday, that is 8 strikes out of the money. Simple answer, just don't trade. No, I would say still take the trade. Because remember, breaking the box, what you're trying to focus on is getting comfortable executing your trade based on the plan, no matter what, when the criteria is right. And the beauty is there's real money involved. So use the fact that it's far out of the money to execute your plan according to the plan, not so much expecting a large return as a result of the trade. Remember, guys, it's not about making money in the beginning. If you come into this business with your first priority being making money, you're going to be in for a rude awakening. Please assume that that is secondary or maybe third on the list of things that are important when you first start trading. Developing a strategy, building confidence and discipline. When you have those two things in the bag, money follows naturally. Do not aim for the money first. You will lose your ass. Okay? Trade it based on your rules. If $35 is your max trade and it's 8 strikes out of the money, you're not expecting to make money, but what you need to expect and do is follow your trade plan to a T, regardless of the dollar amount. Okay? At times when trading felt impossible to learn or maintain consistency, what made you still believe in yourself and continue to keep trying? I don't give up easily in anything that I do in life. In fact, I don't know if it's a problem. Sometimes it's a problem. In this case, it was a good problem to have. When I get into something, regardless of what it is, doesn't even have to involve money. When I get into something that interests me, I go all in at an obsessive level. Photography is one of the things that I like to tell people, right? So when photography became an interest to me, do you think I went out and bought a inexpensive point and shoot camera? No. I went out, I bought the top of the line Canon camera along with, I've got $20,000 worth of camera gear that I had before I even knew what the camera was capable of. Carbon fiber tripods, you name it. Not the right way to go about it, but that's just my personality. So when trading became a thing that interests me, I dug so deep into it that there's almost no way. Failure is almost not an option. Like, I hate to say this, but I would have spent my last dollar in the markets while trying to, because I don't give up. If I'm interested in it, it's full on. And in this case, that level of dedication I came out on the right side of it. Fortunately, I'm knocking on not wood. My desk is metal, but so I don't know if that's the right answer, but I do know this. Everybody, and I mean this, everybody is capable of learning how to do this. The most important aspect of day trading specifically, is learning to get out of your own way and stop allowing emotions to make decisions for you. I want to be very clear on this. The emotions that come with day trading, they will never go away. I say this every time, and I'm going to say it again. If you are working at this, assuming that at some point in time you will feel nothing every time you take a trade, regardless of the results or while you're in the trade, it's bullshit. You will feel this business every single time. You feel it before you get in the trade, while you're anticipating waiting for the setup. You feel it while you're in it, and you feel it after you're out. That shit never goes away. I'm telling you. So if your goal is to work to a point where your progress is being measured on the fact that you still feel things when you get into these trades, please don't use that as a metric of progress. It is not. It's exciting to make money. It hurts to lose money. And the idea that one of those two outcomes is about to happen while you're waiting to take the trade it's going to be felt every single time. Okay. So I hope that answers your question, breaking the box. Yes, Aiden, I hope that answers your question. Keep trying, scale back. Don't go broke, guys. Don't spend your mortgage money on this. So let me put that in there too. You must do this when you have disposable income. And I know most people these days don't. Okay? You have to protect yourself from yourself. You have to. That includes your money. If you can't pay your fucking mortgage because you're day trading, you need to stop day trading. Get a second job, get your finances in order, and then come back when you have disposable income. There's no room in this business for disparity. There's no room in this business for somebody who's broke. This is not the answer. Working harder, having a second job, making yourself more valuable for consistent income through a paycheck is the answer for that solution, or for that situation. The stock market, casinos, the lottery, those are not the answer. Please, please, do not attempt to day trade unless you can afford to do so. It will wreck your emotions otherwise, okay? How do you get confidence back if on a bad streak and then get lucky on a trade and follow up with 2 good days, but confidence is still shook? Well, I mean, when you say you get lucky on a trade, is that because you broke rules and got lucky, or you followed rules and it wasn't luck, it just was your trade plan working out as you expected it to? There's 2 different things. I mean, listen, as we spoke about, following the rules in your trade plan is the most important part. That's how you build your confidence, because that will keep you on track, the bumpers on the bowling alley, to being in the right direction all the time. In the long run, your trade plan should produce more winning trades than losing over time, right? You can't measure it in a day. You can't measure it in a week. It's going to take months. A larger sample size will give you the true answers. What if you're outside your situation? What if your outside your situation causes you to not be confident or question your confidence? What if I'm not sure what you mean by that. What do you mean if you're outside your situation? Why do you guys keep retracting messages? Finally, I stopped talking to my loved ones about day trading. they have undermined me so much since they don't understand it or what freedoms I'm trying to create for myself by myself. Scott, yeah, my wife doesn't ask me about my trading. She doesn't know how much money I make. She doesn't care, which is a beautiful thing. I don't have to answer to anybody. The bills get paid, the lights stay on, and as long as that's the case, she doesn't care. But you should have somebody you can talk to, especially on bad days, right? And if I'm going to be that guy, I'm happy to be that guy for anybody. But just don't hide. I went through this before, starting other businesses. Don't hide money problems from your spouse. It's a bad idea because inevitably they're going to find out. Mine found out because the electric was getting shut off. This was before I learned how to trade. And she starts asking questions naturally, or when her car got repossessed out of the front yard, which I have all that on camera. It was a horrible day. But anyway, you can't hide it, guys. At some point, it's going to show its true colors. It's better to have your spouse on your side than as an enemy. You don't want to break your trust. Okay. Things outside. Your life is causing problems. Oh, hey, Jimmy, how do you market in or limit? Well, that has nothing to do with confidence, but I market into my trades. I trade SPX, and it moves so fast that limit orders either get skipped over or you miss them altogether. I market in. It doesn't give you the best fills all the time, but if you're taking the trades at the right time, even with slippage, the move that we're expecting should be enough to cover the slippage. So yes, I market into and out of my trades. Does anybody else have any other questions? Fibs, I do every other Friday. I get my head shaved and my beard trimmed up. So yesterday was that second Friday. Can you talk about the hot hand again? How to deal with support term confidence or actual confidence. So the hot hand fallacy, basically, it's the idea that it comes out of poker or card playing, where you probably don't realize that you don't know as much about blackjack or poker as you think you do, but because you keep winning, you've convinced yourself that you've dominated the space, meaning you're a pro at it, and that in a sense will create a sense of confidence that's not really justifiable. And in the trading world, the only way you'll recognize that that's happening to you or not is through proper journaling, because a win streak can happen by luck, and you will tell yourself that you've figured this out, and you will scale up when you do so, and then you'll find that maybe it wasn't skill, and you'll hurt yourself. Here's another point. If you guys do scale up because you've built the confidence in your account to do so, and it doesn't work, please don't be afraid to go back down to the previous position size. I would say it's way more important to continue to do what's currently working than it is to try and push forward to make more money. If you can consistently make money in the stock market on a day-to-day basis, it might be a little bit slower of a grind, but it's going to be way better for your account and your emotional state, and you'll make it easier for you to follow your trade plan and do everything you're supposed to do. So please don't be in a hurry to scale up. If you've gotten to a place where consistency is there, that is way more difficult to do than it is to make money. So keep the consistency once you've had it. And if you do, and when you do scale up, because ultimately you will, please only do so in one contract increments. One. Don't go from 1 to 5 or 5 to 10 or from 5 SPY to 1 SPX. You will crush yourself. Promise you. Don't do that. And if it doesn't work after you scale, go right back to the side that you came from, because you don't want to destroy your confidence by holding on to that larger position size for too long. So, King, the hot hand fallacy, journaling will tell you if it's you doing the right thing or you getting lucky. It's, again, going to come down to sample size, okay? Not the easiest thing to answer, but I hope that helps. Any other questions? You're welcome, Apple. No problem. All right. Well, I guess we'll end this. Ran a little bit over an hour. For that, I apologize. I hope there was some helpful information in this particular live stream for some of you guys out there. If you need anything or want anything or have any questions, you know where to find me. I answer every YouTube comment. I have a Discord community. If you're not in it, please consider joining it. First week is free. If you're interested in my strategy, but you can't be in my trade Discord, check out my book. I'll tell you this. First of all, I only make $3 for the sale of these books, guys. I'm not pushing this to get rich, okay? This book is not going to make me rich. Trading properly will, but this, if you get this book, it makes my videos make a lot more sense to you. If you watch my daily videos, they're short, they're quick, they're fast-paced because your attention span is shit. So if you read the book, then what I go over in the videos will make a lot of sense to you. You'll probably have a lot less questions and you'll understand a lot more. So I'm in this weird space where these particular videos are very good for me because I'm not confined. People who don't want to be here won't sit here and they won't come to these sessions. But the people who have the attention span or truly want to learn from me or just in general will dedicate the time to it. This book right here is fantastic for the mental side, the proper setups, charting, all of that stuff. It's a really easy read, guys. There's people out there who read this book in 1 to 2 days. It's 200 pages long, but it's an easy read. Simple to understand, not overly technical, not overly complicated. Check it out. It'll do good for you, I promise. All right? All right. So thank you guys for everything. As always, I love you, and I do appreciate the fact that you spend your mornings with me on Saturdays. And, well, till the next one. See you.